Welcome to the NBA Nightcap. My name's Nick. I'm joined here with Lucas and Dave. Thanks for stopping into our little podcast here. If this is your first time here, we like to shoot the shit about the NBA, have a couple nice little drinks. I'm still drinking box wine number 2. This is probably podcast number 5 with it, but I went a little hard yesterday with snowboarding, then went to dinner, and then went to drinks, and then went home and drank more. So I'm a little sluggish today, so I can't even talk. But we're having a great podcast lined up. We are going to be talking about finals matchups because the All-Star break just happened and I didn't watch a single second of it because I was working. That's not true. I watched it off someone's phone on the table for like 2 minutes, but yeah, caught the highlights. That's all I needed to see. Some, G Leaguers in the dunk contest, especially Obi Toppin.
Oh, ho, ho.
Ho
That's
ho
painful.
ho. But it is the NBA Nightcap. Make sure you go grab yourself a drink. I got my box wine. What do you guys got going on?
Dave? I go with Old Faithful, Bird Dog.
The bird dog.
Bird Dog and a
Bird
Stewart's
Dog.
Shop Cup. I love it.
Hey, it's a cool cup though. See, wherever it's colder, it turns cool blue.
Oh,
I'm a big fan.
Lucas.
So I traded in the bourbon iced coffee for a classic Dewar's bottle. This is a gigantic one, but
Yeah,
we're getting through it one day at a time, about 6 drinks at a time. We're getting there.
we're getting there. The grind don't stop.
You changed mud from mud to actual doers.
Yeah, like on the screen, that drink really looked atrocious, but
It did the
sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do.
it did the job. All right,
It did the job.
so let's get into the NBA. Like I said, All-Star break just happened. We had all the Embiid, Simmons drama of going to a barbershop, which is the downfall of the NBA. But finals matchups, we're going to skip to the end of the season already. We don't care about the second half. We're going to leave it with you, Dave. Who do you think is going to go to the NBA finals? And we're going to look at the odds. We're going to try to convince each other which bet we want to take. Maybe, throw a little penny on it. My stonks aren't doing so well, but I can afford a little extra. What are you thinking, Dave?
So this is basically my fun slash insanely good odds. So the odds, if you parlay them, is plus 23,300.
23,000. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I'm right. All right, I'm right.
Can I
Yeah,
guess what it is?
Yeah, you can guess.
Is it gonna be like the Blazers and the Pacers or something?
You got half of it right.
I bet he got the Blazers side.
Yep.
Blazers Raptors.
Nope. Okay, come on now.
Ah,
Blazers Bucks.
Blazers.
Come on, I'm putting a reasonable bet in here. It's only 230 to 1.
Yeah, come on,
Blazers.
3,500. So the Blazers are 3,500 and the Bucks are 350 plus 350. So this is definitely I'm sticking to my guns that the Nets are overrated, even though to end the first half they were going on a tear with Harden just being like, "All right, I'm the point guard and I'm amazing at it." But this is just team basketball matters more than the individuals. And I think the Bucks overall is a better team, even though like they're not they're like in the stand like close for another number one seed. Like Giannis is putting up insane numbers, but he's not going to win MVP because no one has won it 3 times in a row since like Larry Bird and Will Chamberlain.
Yeah.
So they're kind of just flying under the radar this year. It's not like the super hype of last year, I feel. And it's just I believe that the Bucks overall have a better team than the Nets. The Nets are better on paper, but I think that the overall pieces and everything for the Bucks will win. And the Nets are even odds to make it out of the East, which is I think insane.
So say the odds again. It was like 231 to 1.
It was so for the Bucks to make it out of the East.
No, like
It's
the parlay.
Oh, okay. Wait, I'm gonna refresh it because I saw that
It's
number. I'm like, that's insane.
1,600 or 16,000.
16,000.
Oh, you just
Yeah.
did it? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I had the Nets in there first, and then I took the Nets out. So then I'm like, wait, maybe it went and didn't actually do that.
Okay,
But
so
yeah,
it's 161 to 1 odds. If here's a question for you, Dave. If I was to give you $100 and you got to decide, like, how much of this money, how much of this $100 would you put towards this bet, right?
I like this.
How much? And you had two choices. I gave you $100 to go to the grocery store, right? And you were like, I need groceries, but I also love this bet. How much money would you put on this bet out of $100?
and then wait, so what can I do with the rest of the money? Go to buy
You would
food?
have to buy food for your family. So the options are: how much do I believe in
They
this
can go a
bet?
day without eating.
Does my family eat, or are we eating forever? Like like you if you win
Yeah,
a bet,
yeah, I got you.
right?
Feast or famine.
I would go $20 on the bet, $80 for food.
All right, okay. That's
So I don't. It's definitely not a like. I think these two teams are going to make it to the finals. It's I like the odds,
Yeah.
and I like it's a lot more the odds than the actual two teams, because I think putting money on the Nets at even money. I mean, it's the playoffs. Like, how many times does the number one seed get bounced?
right.
Like that happens a lot. So the Nets might look amazing in the regular season, and then get bounced in the playoffs. And I think having them as even odds and having the Bucks at plus 350, and the Bucks are like they're pretty much the Bucks of last year and the year before. Like I still have a lot of faith in the Bucks, and I love Drew Holiday.
That
I
makes.
like the Bucks.
I don't.
They're you don't like the Bucks?
No. I don't
I think
trust
they're
them
gonna
for
be sick
shit.
when Drew is back. When Drew's back and
Yeah.
healthy, I think it's gonna be pretty nice.
I think I think Dave's argument against the Nets is the argument against the Bucks. They're always great in the regular season, and then they get to the playoffs, and it's like they just hit a wall, a literal wall, because Giannis just can't break through three straight defenders. I they've
And
hurt me
then
too
the
much. They've hurt me too much.
so the other side of it for the Blazers, it's 100 like having the Bucks instead of the Nets for odds reason, it's 110% that same reason for the Blazers. Plus 3,500 for them to make it out of the West. And then when you look at the other teams, like, all right, so the Lakers are plus
120.
120. Like, so they're the odds on favorite. What if they're one Anthony Davis injury away from like not looking good, which they are right now, kind of thing. And
Yeah, they
and the
suck.
Blazers have went and without McCollum, without Nurkic, have just keep on steadily winning. So it's like I believe in Dame kind of situation.
Yeah,
So
it's
in
Dame
the
time for
alternates,
sure. Like
it was
and
Dame time at the. I watched about 45 seconds of All Star highlights. It was Obi Toppin dunks,
yeah,
Julius Randle's run in the skills competition, and then Dame's like almost half court shot to clinch the game. That was the three things.
well, I mean, the combo of like CJ and Lillard this year could be freaking sick. Like CJ started off so hot. Like
Yeah,
CJ was
Hmm.
better than Lillard to start the
Yeah.
year.
27 a
I mean,
game
like 27. I want to say that's career high. I don't know for sure, but it has to be
for,
pretty close.
for
Like
I'm
CJ.
gonna go
Oh
with career
yeah,
high. Yeah.
if this is if prime CJ McCollum comes back out of injury and Lillard is still playing like Lillard, I think you don't even need to expect too much out of Nurkic. Like he just has to be normal Nurkic, right? He doesn't have
Hmm.
to. He just has to come back and be better than Enos Cantor.
Which, I mean, is
it's
not
hard
that
to
hard to
do.
do.
I
I
mean,
kind of like
Enes
that. Like if
Kanter's
they're
a god.
healthy, I think they can. I don't see how you couldn't make an argument that there's no way they couldn't push any of these teams to like game 7, right? Like
Hmm.
they could push the Clippers to 7 games. They could
Yep.
push the Jazz, I think, to 7 games. Lakers would be hard because they did just dominate them last year. That was just
Yeah.
sad,
Yeah,
but they were still hurt.
Hmm.
I think a lot of like everything has to go right
It
is
has
the
to, yeah.
timeline for the Blazers for this to
Yep.
work. But
It,
there
ha-
is a timeline.
it has to be that perfect world. Like, what was it, 2 years ago when they made it to the Western Conference Finals? Like,
Yep.
they got in because the Nuggets just decided to not know how to hit a 3-pointer, and then I mean they got rolled. Well, no, weren't they up like 15 every game, and then they
They were.
lost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They
they were
had every
playing.
right to be in the finals. Like they should
Yeah,
have been in the finals that year.
it's gonna have to be one of those years, and I think this year is one of those years because I look at every team and I'm like, I could see this team. I could talk myself into it.
Yeah.
I like the Blazers bet more than I even like the Bucks pick, and I hate
You
I
like a plus 3,500 more than you like a plus 350.
yeah, because I don't believe in Budenholzer.
That would be the thing, right? Like, is Bud going to
Playoff
shrink
Bud.
the lineups? Like, if he
No,
goes 10 deep, or even like,
he
I
has
would
to
be
go.
like, he has to be 8 deep at most. Like every game
Mhm.
can
Yeah.
and Giannis has to play.
Giannis has to play like
Giannis
40
can only
minutes.
sit for what? Yeah, Giannis can only sit for
4 minutes.
10 minutes at most.
Yeah,
Like he has to play 38.
has
He
to.
needs to go and so if the Knicks when the Knicks make it to the playoffs and then say they get bounced in the first round, Budenholzer needs to be like, all right, Thebs, come over here, just help me out for a minute. All right, so I have this guy named Giannis. How many minutes should I play him? And then you just have Thibs like scraggly ass voice being like, play him 40 minutes.
That would be so funny. He's like a Sith Lord
Yep.
behind.
Yo,
Bud.
I still see the Knicks upsetting the Celtics if they play in the first round.
Yeah.
Oh, I would
No, that's
love
gonna
Boston,
be a
New York.
really great series, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That would be so much fun to watch. Something is wrong in Boston.
Yeah, it's called They Suck.
They suck. All right, Mister. They suck. What's your finals matchup?
Lakers Nets, GG's. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god!
So
Someone
boring.
had to make the boring pick.
I'm kidding. That's not my
You don't have
pick.
to. You can pick boring. That's fine.
No.
No one's judging you.
This one's like hard for me. So I have Sixers Clippers.
Six
Wait.
Clippers.
Wait,
Yeah.
you have the Clippers?
Yeah.
The man who has shit on me every single time where I say how amazing Kawhi Leonard is and how like the Clippers have amazing defense and everything else. You're like, no, the Clippers fucking suck.
Well, they do. But this is kind of like a double pick. Like, if they lose, I feel happy. I can't bet on my own team. Like, I was like, oh, this is worth the bet. $100. But all right, the Clippers are out. No, I just feel like they either have like a trade to make or they're gonna pick up a player. Like, say they somehow some like Blake Griffin magic happens and they pick up Kyle Lowry for nothing. I'm in on them. I don't know. The Lakers I don't trust this year. I didn't trust them last year, to be fair. But I just feel like, Dave, like you said, the Anthony Davis thing is every 3 games this guy is like limping off the court with an almost catastrophic injury, even though he's probably just because he's a low pain threshold.
When he plays and stuff, like it's almost like the like Joel Embiid factor of a couple years ago when like Joel Embiid was on the rise and he would fall and you're like, well, that's it. He's done.
Yeah.
He's done for like half the season. I feel like it's the same exact thing with Anthony Davis.
They just fall like they're big babies.
Mhm.
Drives me insane. I don't know. I feel like last year the Clippers just had this catastrophic fucking meltdown and blew it to the team that probably could, obviously is better than them. But I really wanted to go to the Nuggets. I just couldn't talk myself into it, even though they're somehow like 4th on the power rankings. Granted, I haven't watched a lot of Clippers games because I'm either watching the Lakers play, but just like on paper, I want to say I believe in Kawhi Leonard over like everyone else. Maybe not LeBron.
The only issue I see with this is
They're the Clippers.
when Kawhi's not on the court, it's so bad. Like Pat Bev and Lou Will and Paul George lineup is
Yeah.
like I want to rip my eyeballs out.
I don't love this pick, but I also don't love Utah. I definitely don't love the Suns enough to believe that they can get 3 rounds.
We're almost there.
You guys are almost there. If you have Chris Paul from 5 years ago. Yeah, going over to the other side, the Sixers, I just feel like it's almost the same argument. Is like I think they're one little addition away. Like if they get a PJ Tucker as well, I think it strengthens up their bench enough. But I really enjoy the Sixers. I don't enjoy Embiid's free throw attempts a game, but I guess, whatever works for him. Uh yeah, I don't know. I think the Sixers have a stronger like 5 than Brooklyn does in the playoffs. I don't know if they can outscore each other, but like if you have one little game where like Harden doesn't get his calls and like yeah, he's passing the ball, but like Embiid's just gonna roll through him.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna count for Embiid's 40 every night, but like he's gonna make everyone foul. Like Durant's gonna get some unnecessary fouls. Like Blake, I don't know. I just believe in that core. I want to believe in the Sixers one more time. Just let me do it, guys. Just let me do it.
Every year they disappoint because we're like, Embiid is the biggest person on the planet. Like, how
Yeah.
can you go?
Remember when we
against
saw him in person and it was just like, oh my god, this guy's a monster.
absolutely gigantic.
It was like the folklore of like you hear about these giants back in the day, and you're like, there's no way people like this existed. And they were just Joel Embiids, and they were gods.
What is that story? It's like the Odysseus when
Yeah.
he has to go hunt a cyclops. They would be hunting Embiid on
Yeah.
that island. Those are the stories they would tell.
He's 7'4" and he's amazing.
Like Boban.
Yeah.
They would hunt Boban. No, I just don't believe both teams have two issues. Like, I think the biggest issue for the Clippers is that it feels like last year's team was better. Like,
Yeah, their
in the
defense is
fact
not that
that
good this year.
their defense isn't that good. Beverly's gotten worse. Lou's gotten worse.
Yeah, but I like the
Kennard-
additions of Ibaka and Batum though. Like
Yeah,
they
but,
just fit on that team.
they're like decent pieces, but I don't trust Ibaka to have to play. Like, I think Zubac is going to get destroyed in the playoffs. Like, he got killed by Jokic every single game.
Oh
I
yeah.
think going into the playoffs this year, you're going to have bigs and you're going to have to play against them. And I don't like Ty Lue is different than Doc, but I still think at the end of the day, they're not going to trust Zubac. They're going to play Ibaka.
Yeah.
And I think like,
But it was only 2 years ago when Ibaka was a huge reason why the Raptors won that finals.
No, I agree. It's
Mhm.
just like I don't know if this version of Ibaka is going to be your, I don't know, your starting center. That's like they're relying on him to be the anchor. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody drives the hoop, Ibaka has to be the guy there. And I don't know, 38-year-old Ibaka, I don't trust anymore at this point.
Or he might be like 42. Nobody
So, like,
really
It's
knows.
50, but it's fine.
Kennard hasn't played up to
Yeah, I don't.
his
Yeah.
money right now. I don't really understand it. If they swing for Lowry, that's like nice, but I still don't love that team. Like, they're not very deep anymore. I don't consider them a deep team.
No, but
which would be
it's like almost the argument we made for the Bucks, where it's like we don't need that depth. We just need 6 guys.
No, it's
Yeah.
true, but like, how often has the Clippers only played like their core? Like, that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
you can say, like, I'm only gonna play 8 dudes, which should be the thing in the playoffs. But if those 8 dudes have never actually played in like, are they even gonna play like 40% of their games together? Like, I don't even know what the sample size of Kawhi and Paul George and Ibaka and Batum and like the starting 5. How often do they actually play together?
I
Do
guess
they just take time off?
I guess my big thing was I was terrified of the Clippers last year, and I was so happy when they melted down and lost to the Nuggets because I was like, I would much rather play the Nuggets. It was a hard fought series, but like, I think if we had to play the Clippers, just it's such a better matchup because everyone's like, oh, AD's gonna feast, but like, I don't think they really watch Anthony Davis play basketball too often because he's not like going down low. He's just taking mid range jumpers all the time, so it's not like, and he's
Feels
so
like he's like 6'8".
he's
not
so
7
weak
feet.
too. Like he's probably a strong guy, but he's so tiny. It's I don't know. I couldn't pick my own team. I wanted to, but even with Anthony Davis playing, when he was playing, it just felt like he wasn't there yet. Like he has like championship hangover, and he's the only person on the team who has it. It feels awful.
I'll poke a hole in your Sixers pick too. Just
Oh no way,
the
Lucas hating on the
power?
Sixers and Ben Simmons.
all right.
What?
So what did they solve?
Ben,
That was their biggest weak point. going
Joel
back.
Embiid can play 4 quarters.
They still don't have a dude that can, like, they don't have a wing
Seth
that
Curry.
can consistently create his own shot. Seth Curry cannot create his own shot.
Oh,
He's
unlike
he can probably do a little. Or
Dave,
like a
he doesn't
marginal
watch
create his
basketball
own
like
shot.
us, you know?
Yeah, I know, right?
He's like the best three. He's not the best because I think Joe Harris is right now the best
Most
like,
of the 3-point shooter.
efficient 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
But Seth is up there. And you have Danny Green, so they at least solved the. We lost JJ Redick, who was our.
Don't ever,
forward.
don't ever,
You just see
don't
Danny
ever.
Green with it.
He can still hit threes right now. I think
Nah.
he's hitting threes right now.
He is so bad.
I
We're gonna
will.
pull this up. No, he's bad. I'm not saying he's good. I'm saying he's better than whoever was shooting last year for him.
Okay,
He's
I agree with that.
38% from 3. Get out. I'm right. So Danny.
I looked
Green,
at the stats.
3. He's shooting. He's all I'm saying is they solved the who's going to shoot a 3 problem that they didn't have last year. So they have the 3, but they still don't have a guy that can like create his own shot on the perimeter, and that's like every single team needs one. When was
Yeah.
the last time there was a championship team where the best player was a center? Like, you
Shaq.
have to make the argument of like Duncan,
was
like
definitely-
over
it was-
Ibaka, or not Ibaka, over Kawhi. You know, like you'd have to make
Yeah.
that argument.
It was Tony
Or-
Parker, but
or Tony, whatever. Yeah,
He would
you'd have to
drop.
make that argument, or like Dirk is the last time a
It
traditional.
was definitely
big.
Dirk
Yeah.
as like the best player, and it wasn't even close. Because
That's
like
a
even like
decade
those
ago.
even like those last like Tim Duncan years, it was like Tim Duncan's the best player, but the level of like separation between him and the rest of his team wasn't that high. Like I feel like the Dirk separation was pretty high.
it
I mean,
was
what was the second best
extremely
player, like
high.
Jason Derry?
I mean, it had to be J Kidd, right?
Yeah.
Facilitating.
The second best player on that?
I guess
Yeah.
Chandler.
Mm.
It had to
I
be
don't
like
think it was
Chandler or
Jason
Jason
Terry.
Kidd.
I want to say Jason Terry
Mm-hmm.
or like Sean Marion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
But even,
there.
like, Sean Marion,
It was
though,
just a
like-
huge. It was a huge drop off.
Oh,
is-
it was like the best team ever, though. I love
was
that
it?
team.
The last time, like, I don't want to say the last time, just like a team. You know what? That's the thing. Like comparing that Dallas team to other championship teams, like they feel like the weakest, and they would be most similar to like when the Raptors won it, but they like one guy that was like the best. You knew he was the best guy, and then the rest of the team was just like a solid team. But I don't know.
They
I
didn't have
think-
like the 1-2 punch, I guess.
right.
They had like one, and then like step down, step down, step down.
Yeah,
was
so that's what I'm
4.
saying with like Dallas, where it was just like
Mhm.
you had Dirk, and then everyone else was just like a complementary team player.
Yeah,
Can't
because
do
I mean,
another.
so Terry averaged 15.8, Caron Butler averaged 15, Marion averaged 13, Tyson averaged 10 and 10, Jason Kidd averaged 8 and 8. It was just like everyone was just like, and then there's this Dirk who's averaging 23 and 7. God, bring me
Think
back.
about that now. If like the best player on a championship team averaged 23 and 7, I feel like. they
Well,
would be
I just saw a stat that it was
oblivion.
there was like 8 players in the league who averaged 20 points like 9 years ago or something like that,
Mhm.
and now there's like 40.
Stats are being inflated like crazy.
Yeah, it's like the stonks.
Stonks. All right, so I'll pose the same question to you. You have $100 to feed the 3 of you in this household. No, 4. Koopa's there.
Yeah.
You have $100 to feed the 4 of you. It's a week's worth of groceries. How much money do you put on this bet thinking, you know, I can give them 52 weeks worth of groceries with this bad boy, or do we eat ramen noodles? Where are you weighing this?
I'm throwing 75 on it.
70.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I'm pretty actually.
Boy.
I
Yacht
feel
Club or food stamps for my guy Nick Reed.
Yeah,
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
feeling more confident in this than my other picks.
How many sandwiches can a loaf of bread make? Just
A
peanut
lot.
butter, jelly, peanut butter, jelly.
Yeah,
like a
I'll be
month's
fine.
worth
No,
of
you buy
sandwiches.
rice. You just buy rice.
You can't just eat rice.
You
gotta
can.
eat- You get $25.
Has
You got rice, and you need something else with it.
Rice and beans. There you go.
Rice and beans.
There you go.
Okay, feast for a week. Nice. Alright.
Cheese and tortillas. That's how I survived
That's what I'm saying.
college. Some hot
Yes.
sauce. All right, Mister. I have the greatest pick of all time, who probably just took the Nets and the Lakers and just is
Yeah.
laughing in his sleep. Robin Hood ass mother trucker over here.
You know, to be honest, I went into this podcast
Confident.
going with the Phoenix Suns and the
No.
Milwaukee Bucks. but
Wow.
I changed my
Fucking
fucking mind
surprise there.
after I got called out multiple times.
Well, we knew that
I
was
got-
coming.
I got called out a lot, so I'm gonna go with something I don't truly believe in, but I do believe
Wow.
85% in that I would put money on, so my family will not eat.
We'll eat.
I'm going with the Utah Jazz and the Brooklyn Nets. It is officially pull that up again.
Plus
Number one
800.
seed against the number 1 seed.
Wow.
It is,
Gee.
eight,
Oh.
it is 8-1. Now, my argument, I'm gonna start with the Jazz, is that being the number 1 seed this deep into the season, I feel like the odds are very generous right now. Like if I feel like if it was the Lakers number 1 seed, they'd be like minus 170. Clippers,
Yeah.
they'd be minus. Jazz being positive 325,
350.
that's super generous. I feel like you're getting the number 1 seed at a discount. This is why I almost went with the example when I proposed this of being Philly versus Utah, where you're getting these number 1 seeds at a discount, and you're just saying like, well, neither of them have LeBron, or neither of them have a top,
10 player.
I don't want to see. I guess
Yeah,
yeah.
the top 10 player.
So the Jazz don't have a top 10 guy. They don't even have like arguably a top 15 guy, right? I don't know
Yeah,
where
they're
you're
like
gonna
they're.
compare.
You have to make like a super hard argument for Mitchell to be top 20 or 25.
Right, and then I don't know where you gauge Gobert at all. Like you'd have to be like
Gobert.
well,
I think
he's a
Gobert is
defensive
higher
player.
than Mitchell.
I think I'd probably put Gobert over Mitchell too.
Even though there's the biggest flaw in your plan here, is Gobert can't guard anyone, and namely
see-
Nikola Jokic.
he
Oh,
has
do you
problems.
want to go to that game when Jokic?
Offensive guy.
He didn't even guard Jokic. He didn't play him. They played Derek Favors because Gobert was scared
See, but the thing is though,
of the Joker.
is that the
Dropped fucking 40 on him in the first half.
the Jazz probably won't have to play the Nuggets because the Nuggets are gonna be like the 7th seed.
So
well-
they're gonna have to be playing for their life, honestly.
Yeah.
This is terrifying to me because the Lakers are the 3 seed and the Nuggets are a 6 seed right now, and I don't like that. I don't want to play the Nuggets.
Let's say even they have to play the Nuggets. I think the Jazz are set up to have to bench Gobert if they need to. Like
Yeah.
your backup solution is being like, all right, either Gobert's in foul trouble or Gobert really can't play against these bigs that are stretching the floor. Then you just kind of go, screw it, we'll play their game. We'll go like the Rockets, and they'll have Bogdanovich. They'll have
Which-
have to play like Derek Favors at the 5.
I don't think I like that.
But
I'd rather
at
just
least
have
he's more
Gobert.
mobile.
Yeah, I would
He's
have
more
Gobert too.
But like Derek Favors shoots threes this
Long
year.
boy.
So that would be the issue. It's like if you're spreading the floor, you get a 5 that can shoot. Then you get your guys are Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Bogdanovich, Royce O'Neal, and then off the bench you have Ingles and Clarkson. It's like you've got these, I want to say like 6 guys that are all ball handlers that can all score and like marginally, like I mean, you go down, you can rank them down the list of like who can create their own shot.
Yeah.
Probably like Royce O'Neal's on last on the list, but at least he's like a competent player. Having like 6 switchable guys that can all shoot threes, I think that lines up against like any team. Like I think you can compete against any team with those type of players. And then Gobert is kind of like the X factors, like if he can stay in the game at all.
I guess.
That's my argument.
I mean,
with the Jazz.
the
They're
argument.
not a perfect team.
No,
but-
they're a good team. I like them. If they keep the 1 seed and they have home court, it's more valuable to them than like like a
Yeah.
LA team, because there's who knows if LA is gonna have fans by then.
And the
Um,
Jazz have fans, right?
the Jazz have fans, and they have
Yeah.
the Mile High kind of thing going on with them too. Hire everyone out. I don't know. I look like Suns Spurs. I see the Suns winning that series. Lakers Nuggets.
Mhm.
The Lakers are probably gonna win. Clippers
Yep.
Blazers could be fun, but the Clippers are probably winning that.
Clippers Blazers would be a very fun first round.
I
But
think
then
that'll be very cool.
I look at Jazz Mavericks, and I still kind of go like, best of 7.
I don't know.
I don't-
think
I
the
don't think
Mavs
so.
have taken a huge step back from last year.
Gobert will make Porzingis look like a little child.
As they
If Porzingis even plays.
Yeah, if Porzingis plays.
win 8 of their last 10.
I mean, they
Mm.
they had to be over 500. Like they had to go eight for
10.
8 for 10 just to get out of being sub 500. So
Yeah,
like,
they had COVID struggles, you know. I'm just saying, there's
yeah,
like
but wouldn't
the
you
Jazz
say that
don't
they
the
already
Jazz
beat them on
don't
their streak?
the Jazz don't wow me, you know.
No, they don't wow me either.
No.
But
That's
I
what-
think like if you wanted to go with like a solid team, but I guess more importantly, I'm seeing like value in a number 1 pick.
Yeah,
Whereas going with the Nets, I actually think the net side of this is less value. Like I think them being even odds to make the finals isn't great value at all, because I kind of think if you look at Milwaukee, Nets, and Philly, they're they are separated a bit. Like if I had to rank them, it'd go like Nets, Milwaukee, Philly. But I don't think like the margin of difference is that big. But it's really
I-
hard to say that I'm not going to pick the team with 2 MVPs that are still relatively in their prime. Like they're sure you're not getting MVP Durant or MVP Harden, but they're both. I mean, they're all 3 of these guys on the Nets could drop 30 all in every game. Like
That's more than 3. Now with
yeah,
Blake.
now you got Blake. You have a competent big off the bench. Like this team is kind of terrifying.
it's really
the-
terrifying.
I guess the only thing that I can think of that would stop them from getting to the finals would
Say
be
it,
either,
Lucas. Say it. Say the D word.
well, actually, I was gonna say a D word, but in regards to playing Milwaukee, like every team that's played Milwaukee has built a wall to stop Giannis. Who the hell are you gonna build this wall with?
They don't need to.
Brooklyn?
They don't need
You
to build
gotta
a wall.
build a wall.
No.
You
You
have to
gotta
build the wall.
or else he's just gonna slaughter people, right?
I don't know if you
Exactly.
guys know this, but the team with more points wins, and that's what happened the last time they played.
Yeah, but what if one guy just gets dunks every possession? Like you
Exactly.
have to put. So my thought is you have.
I don't know if you know this.
Durant
3
guard
points
Giannis.
are worth more than 2 points.
Okay,
No,
tell
it's-
James Harden and the Rockets that when they went 0 for 24 in a row.
Yeah, but it's not just James Harden. It's Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Blake Griffin now.
Okay, it was James Harden, Chris Paul, Eric Gordon.
Yeah. The league took away 6 of their threes. I'm on Team Houston now.
So
Oh,
who's
shocker.
guarding Giannis in the series?
It would
they
have
play
to be
7
KD.
games.
I mean,
Has KD ever guarded the best player on the opposing team for a 7-game series? I honestly
Mm.
think they would put Bruce Brown on freaking.
well,
Giannis.
he's the actual MVP of the league,
I
so
think they would actually have to.
Love
Like
Bruce
by
Brown.
default, they might even switch out and be like DeAndre. I guess they'd have to play DeAndre, but I'm thinking like they're gonna have to throw like Jeff Green or Bruce Brown on Giannis to just get absolutely bullied, and like just to throw bodies at Giannis.
Yeah, but like
hoping they foul him every time. I think
Hard
that's Bruce
foul.
Brown's job. Like every single time Giannis drives, and Bruce
Hard
Brown's
foul.
about to give up a bucket, hard foul, and then all they do is rotate the third.
Akashak.
player. So, yeah, it would honestly turn into like Joe Harris, Bruce Brown, Jeff
You can
Green.
say-
These guys
Imagine
just getting like 4
Joe
to 5
Harris
fouls per game.
guarding Giannis for 7 games straight.
it's
They
not
don't
guard.
have to.
It's
He
not
is
guarding. You don't.
I
It's
know, but
you.
but
Okay,
then,
so
like,
you do
what I
it.
think about though is like, is DeAndre Jordan have to guard Brooke Lopez out on the 3 though?
Yeah, but
like,
I'll live and I'll live and
die.
die with Brooke Lopez taking threes. That's fine.
So who's Kyrie guarding?
It's. I mean, you like. I guess
This is the-
friggin'
this is the
Holiday.
problem, whereas
But it's the thing
I
is
think the
okay.
Nets can outscore 'em,
Yeah,
but-
let's chalk Giannis up to 40 points every single game, and we'll
Mhm.
give Middleton 25, and maybe Drew gets to 20. I'm gonna go with Durant, Harden, and Kyrie getting to 125 points faster than the Bucks. I don't care. I don't like.
Team basketball still matters.
Yeah, and they're gonna score a lot more fucking points. I'm not worried. I don't. The Bucks.
What happens when KD has 4 fouls going into the third quarter because he got switched onto Giannis?
He
and
had
Giannis
he had five
outmuscles him?
he had 5 fouls. Then you let Giannis score. You just go down and you score more points. It's easy.
I think it's gonna be interesting because I think it's gonna devolve into that. Like,
Okay.
It's going to become.
So
the
closing
Nets
the
are gonna
game, it's a
score
4-point game.
Yeah.
Say the Bucks are down. Like, okay, 3-point game. Giannis isn't gonna hit the game-winning 3, so you're guarding Middleton and you're guarding Drew, and you just don't foul Giannis, and then you get the ball back. You have Kevin Durant, Harden, and Kyrie Irving all taking free throws because they're gonna foul them.
So that's like the hope, right? Like
That's-
Bud has to evolve from letting Giannis be the crunch time dude. It's the Sixers' problem with Embiid. Like you can't. These guys aren't your crunch time guys, and it's their biggest flaw. And yet,
Even
the
though
Nets
Embiid
have
hit us-
3 of those guys, though. Like the Nets have 3 dudes
Who are
that can close
closers.
out games.
I mean,
the Bucks have to rely on Middleton being the guy.
I guess your strategy is not how do we stop the wall. It's just keep the ball out of Giannis's hands from where he wants it. Like if you do have to have Bruce Brown just like being on Giannis, just making sure that pass doesn't get to him.
He's so much bigger and stronger than.
But even when he
anybody
gets to
else.
the ball, you double team him. You live with Brook Lopez shooting a 3. You live with like Middleton mid-range jumpers.
Yeah, but, like they have good player. It's not like he's passing to bums though. Like Brook Lopez is a good 3-point shooter. Chris Middleton is a good player. Drew Holiday is a good player. It's not like he's passing to like people who can't
He's-
shoot.
Brook Lopez is a 34% 3-point shooter. He's a decent 3-point shooter. But I will take
Just stress 5.
That's fine. That's perfect. Then he's not in the paint getting easy buckets. Like I'll let him hit 2 threes a game. That's fine. 2 for 5. I'm okay with Brook Lopez getting 6 points. I'll just move on from there. I don't believe in this Milwaukee team. I just don't.
I do not believe in that team.
I believe way more in champion than guys who want to be champions.
Wait. Champion? You mean the
Champions.
Wait, who's won? Only KD. James Harden has disappeared every single playoffs. Kyrie Irving.
Oh,
I'm gonna shoot 45 points. I'm gonna shoot 45 times. This
Kyrie
is
hit one of the
Giannis.
biggest shots in
I'll-
NBA history.
I'll guard Giannis. Okay, yeah. What? 5 years ago?
Yeah, it's
He
still
had
one of the
the
biggest.
recent-
It's still a win. Giannis
The
hasn't
recent
even gotten
5
out of the
years?
second round.
The recent
Maybe third round.
5
All right,
years? That's
third
not
round.
true. He went to the Eastern.
All right, I
Conference Finals.
misspoke.
I misspoke about Kyrie too. But
He
what
forgot
I'm saying
about the
though
shot.
is like yes, Kyrie did hit one of the biggest like shots in NBA Finals, but that was 5 years ago, and that was also when he had. I cannot believe I'm gonna do this. When he had LeBron, like help him beyond where I rather like LeBron on your team compared to KD's the best scorer I think ever, but the difference between LeBron and KD in the finals is great. We've never seen KD go and lead his own team. Steph was even though KD won Finals MVP and stuff, Steph was Golden State. And then so you have James Harden who's collapsed every single year, dating back to 2012 when he'd rather go and party at strip clubs than go and be prepared to play the Miami Heat. So you have Kyrie
he's
who
point
hasn't
guard
shown
now.
up in the playoffs in 5 years, who'd rather go and be like, oh no, you think I shot 25 times was a lot last time? I'm gonna shoot 30 times.
I
And then they
mean,
shoot his
but
team out of the playoffs, and he
if
tries to guard Giannis, and Giannis just smacks him around.
okay, so if
James Harden, who
if
has
the Knicks are
failed in
playing the
playoffs
Nets,
every
are
single
you
time.
terrified when Kyrie Irving has the ball in his hands and he has to get 2 points?
Not if
You're not
friend
scared of
Frank
Kyrie?
Nicotine is guarding him. Are you crazy now? Come on.
All right. Frankie Smokes
of
hasn't
course.
played in about 2 months.
That's not true. He hit back-to-back sweet threes the other day.
All right,
But
so I have
of course I'm terrified of
There it
Kyrie.
is.
The
That's all I
point is,
need.
though, is the like the playoffs are a different animal. Harden does not get the same calls. Harden goes and tries to flop his way through it, and you'd be like, "Whoa, that's a foul." You call that in the regular season. So you have So you have two people on that team who have never been the alpha on a finals team.
I mean, Durant, alphas. Yeah. In the last minute of the game. Yeah.
Okay, so who do you if that the Warriors with Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, Clay, Draymond, whose team was that?
I mean, it was Curry's team, but they were playing to Durant's style. Like, Durant was closing games. Like, Durant, they would go through Durant. Like, on this game, you're going to go through Durant. He's the greatest
I
scorer.
agree
You
with
just,
that and
yeah.
stuff. Like, no, he is the greatest scorer and stuff. But what I'm saying though is I don't think that they've truly ever had a player who was the number one in the playoffs. Like,
What? Durant was the best player in the playoffs before he tore his Achilles. He was dominant.
yeah, he was, but I don't think that like they were barely beating the Raptors and stuff like that. Like, they
didn't-
weren't like.
He didn't play the Raptors.
Yes, he did. That's when he got hurt. Is when he was playing the Raptors.
No,
It
he
was the
got hurt
first half
against the
of
Rockets.
Mhm.
Because the Clay got hurt against the Raptors.
You might be right.
Hey, Durant was averaging like 35 and 12. Cruising through. He was the best player of the league. He was the alpha. I'm not worried about this team. You can't change my mind.
Okay, so where would you
Nothing.
rank the Nets in like championship like contenders, all like matchups? So like I'm looking at like the top 6 teams in the West. So starting from like the Nuggets up right now. Are the Nets like significant favorites in every single one of those matchups? Like if it was Denver Nets, Denver Brooklyn, how many games does it go to?
With this Nuggets team right now?
Everyone's healthy. Yeah.
5 games, I want to say.
Nets in 5. Wow.
Nets in
Alright,
5.
What about Portland?
Probably Nets in 5.
Clippers?
I think that one would probably go to 7.
And then who?
I still think the Nets would win.
Alright, Lakers.
Oh, Lakers in 4. No, I'd say that one would be probably Lakers in 7. If we're fully healthy.
Utah?
And it's not bum AD.
I think Utah would actually be a really bad game for
Hold on, my
Utah.
my headset came unplugged. Save the ball.
I agree though that Utah would match up horribly against the Nets.
Yeah, I don't think that would be a good matchup for Utah. Like
Because like Brooklyn lives in like creating your own shot and like in the mid range. That completely takes Gobert out of like guards driving to the net or dealing with a good big man.
yeah, no, I think it'd be terrible because like Gobert, I don't even know would have that much of an advantage because like you feel like most of the matchups Gobert has, he's like significantly bigger, stronger, he's the better defender. But then you play like I mean, I don't want to call DeAndre Jordan still like a defensive player of the year, but like he's still
not.
like a competent big that would
and
I don't think it's not like Gobert is offensively dominant. So it's not like DeAndre has to guard him that well. He just has to know how to move around screens, right? Like
Yeah.
and DeAndre's big too,
he's
which is another
big.
thing where I feel like Rudy Gobert has like the size advantage a lot of the times, and he won it against because even if he switched off, even if Jordan and Durant switched off each other, I mean, so you're going from what like a 7. What was DeAndre like 7'2", 7'1"?
I don't know.
I think he's
big,
like
though.
6'11".
Well, you're pretty much going from like the same
Yeah.
size in Jordan to the same size in KD.
He's big boy compared to KD.
Oh yeah, KD is Skeletor.
And then I was gonna say Phoenix versus the Nets, but we all know that Phoenix would just dominate that one. So
I'd say Phoenix in 3 games. Just fucking don't even play the 4th game.
all I want to see is Phoenix in the playoffs. I feel spoiled that they're number 2 right now.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Think of all the switchable players. We have so many switchable players.
I actually think the Suns would match up really good against the Suns.
You'd have Bridges, Crowder,
Nets.
Cam Johnson, Dario. Think of all the people that switch.
I would just like it for the narrative of Chris Paul against James Harden.
Paul? That would be so sick.
Like,
That's what
I'd be
want.
rooting for the Suns.
Actually, what are the odds with that?
Chris
I would-
Paul would go and like take personal vengeance out on James Harden.
I think
Plus
it's a high
2,500.
choice. Is it?
Mhm.
I like it, even though I wish my bet was just the Suns to make the finals. I wish that was a thing at the beginning of the year. That
You
would've been
did take the Suns though to make the playoffs though at like good plus money, didn't you?
nice. No, I took them to win the finals. But like the difference is this.
Like a Muppet.
It's already significantly better. So the Suns to win the finals right now is 28 to 1. I got them when they were 80 to 1. So
I
it's
mean,
like even if
yeah.
they make it to the second round,
you
it's
can just
like
start hedging.
but yeah, I mean by the time the playoffs come, these odds are going to be like I don't know, it's going to be at least lower than 20 to 1.
Yeah.
15 to 1 probably would be the lowest that it would get, probably, if I had to
That'd be
guess.
kind of nuts because that means my bet would be like 4 times better than
Yeah.
any bet possible. So I am still stoked about my bet. I think it's possible. Everyone stays healthy.
I mean,
you
it's
got
a weird year.
it's a weird year, and I think there's a lot of similarities between them and Utah. I think you could pretty much they both have really switchable players. They both have great bigs. Like
He's gonna make me say it, isn't he?
what?
I think the
Well,
Suns
who's
are better
better
than
than Utah?
Utah.
We know they are. They've already beaten. It's just
Like-
a matter of scheduling.
I also think that's true because when you go and you say like who so if you're playing pickup or something, you're like, all right, who do I want to draft first? You want to draft Booker
Go down the
before you
list,
draft
baby.
Mitchell, and then the next player you want to pick is Chris Paul, and like
And
their star potential compared to the Jazz
He
is
just
much higher.
swerved
true.
this right back.
And you don't even think about it. Think about how you want to build a team. You have to pick a point guard. Who do you pick? Conley or CP3? You pick CP3.
Jeff
You
Teague.
pick a shooting guard.
Point God.
Who do you pick? Mitchell or the significantly better Mitchell?
Courtney Lee.
You take Booker. Courtney Lee. I will never forget that guy. That was amazing.
That was the dumbest thing I've
I
ever
think
read.
it gets dicey about Bogdanovich and Bridges at that point. because I think
Bogdanovich is
Bridges
better.
is more versatile and he's a better defender.
Much better defender. Bogdanovich is better offensively, but Bridges is much better defensively.
I think Bogdanovich can go off for 20.
And defense
I
is
don't think
overrated.
Bridges. I don't
Shut
think
up.
Bridges can go off. You know.
No, I would be more
Bridges
terrified
going
of
off is,
Bogey.
17.
Yeah.
He gets 17 on
Bogdanovich will just drop a
shots.
sneaky 42 on you. You're just gonna be like,
The
what
real
the hell just
question
happened?
though is who do you pick, Ayton or Gobert? Because that one I feel like is the Mitchell Booker thing is people want to say it's close, but yeah, I don't think it is. I feel like the Gobert
I
Ayton
think
is close.
I'd
So
take Gobert.
So the difference between Gobert and Ayton is Ayton doesn't get run off the floor.
Not yet.
Gobert I would say is the better defender. He's definitely
Not
the better
yet.
defender. He's better interior defender. But every time the Suns have to play Milwaukee, Ayton is guarding Giannis every single game. Ayton has to guard the best opposing small forward or lower basically. Before AD, Ayton was guarding LeBron. And every single one of those matchups, AD is guarding the best big / oversized small forward every single time.
And
that's the thing.
The thing with Ayton versus Gobert, Ayton can I remember watching when Amari had those, what was it, 17 games in a row with 30 points and broke the Knicks record or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He would hit those corner foul line jumpers right on the box right there. Perfect. I see the same exact thing with Ayton. And when Gobert takes jumpers from that area, it's that's not pretty. That
I
is
think that's
horrible.
I think right now Ayton is just his role isn't to score. His whole
his
role
hands
on
suck.
the Suns is to, his whole role on the Suns
Never
is to
dying
be
from that island.
the defensive anchor and to do screens. And when he has if there's 8 seconds left on the shot clock, he makes his own shot and scores. But I think he'll evolve into Amari. I think that's kind of where he's more destined to be.
Imagine a better
Amari
defender,
Stoudemire.
Amar. Whew.
I think that's honestly what you're looking at. I don't think you'll ever get I think Aiton will always have like a statistically similar stat line to like Tim Duncan post
Like an
30 years
1810.
old. Yeah,
I thought you were
18.
gonna say Tim Duncan prime. I was just very
No.
be like, all right, Lucas, I like Aiton, but come on now.
Well, because he doesn't have like
The
he doesn't have that thing
post
where he's
game.
like, I'm gonna score every single time. He has
Yeah.
a post game. He has the game. He's just not like
He doesn't
he's
have
not
the
like
drive.
Embiid. He
It's
doesn't
probably
have
because he's
that
not
aggression.
sticking anything in his butt, no needles. Fucking
Wow.
Oh my
roid
God, the
boys.
slander.
So aggressive.
It's not slander when he got caught.
He did get caught, but
I
we're
just
back. He's taking
What
like
was it, Lucas?
4
Did you
less
drink
shots
too
a
much
game.
coffee?
He drank too much coffee.
he had too many
Um,
what was it, everything bagels, the sesame
They
seeds.
actually
Yep.
bopped him because his pee was too clear. That was why they had to test him, which is the funniest fucking thing.
He just had a lot of water.
He had a lot of
The guy
water.
was well hydrated. Come on.
It's ridiculous,
He had-
actually.
So what's your biggest fear first round matchup for the Suns? Like, who do you not want to play in the first round?
So
Like-
I'm torn. Part of me wants the Suns to have a 2017 Eagles esque playoff series where it's we are playing the hardest team every single round, and then that makes the championship even better. Is because we literally played the hardest freaking team every single matchup of the playoffs. So, but then the other side of me is like, that's really dumb. Let's just get there.
Yeah, no, it is dumb. Just get there. It's worth it.
Looking at it right now would be Spurs, which I would love. Like I would
Yeah,
love to
that'd
play
be-
the Spurs round one.
Yeah.
What I don't want to play is
I thought you were gonna
really
say
want-
Dallas.
no, I would pray for Dallas. That's what I would love. Are you kidding
No, that's
me?
what I meant. I thought that's what
Oh.
you'd want.
That would be such an easy clap. Are you kidding me?
4
Doncic
games.
has literally never freaking Suns. Like he's beat them once, and that was without Aiton. Aiton is
8-0.
undefeated against freaking Doncic. It is incredible. This man freaking sucks against the Suns. It's phenomenal.
I
I
would be. It would be insufferable to hear you when if the Suns played the Mavs in the first round. Would be like, oh, what about this Ben or Bill Simmons? What? Come on. What? Aiton's overrated. You shouldn't have picked. You should have picked Luca if you were the Suns. How about these balls, Bill Simmons?
I think like okay, so on
Unless
his
they
side,
got like
he's
4-0
worried.
smacked.
They wouldn't. Doncic's not gonna 4-0 smack. His team isn't as good as it was last year. They're missing.
I agree.
They for whatever reason traded away Seth Curry, who was their key player.
Second best player on their team.
I got right. So
Yeah, I was wrong.
I
was
wouldn't
too.
want to play Denver.
Yeah,
Honestly,
that's what I
And
was. That's what I was getting at.
They're the curveball where like you don't know what you're gonna get out of your role players. Like we don't know if MPJ is gonna show up to the game like just having a little bit of that Denver
Fish,
jazz cabbage, and we don't know if
Jazz cabbage.
like we don't know if Will Barton's gonna be like I'm better than tonight and then totally suck. Like we don't know what we're getting out of these guys, but
Yeah.
when they're clicking, like and Jokic is MVP Jokic, I don't know what stops it because they're just
Nothing.
perfect.
Nothing stops him.
It's honestly like having a 7-foot Chris Paul down there passing the ball. Like it's really freaking dumb at some point. And they beat us twice this year, but both games went overtime. Second game we didn't have Booker and it went into
First
double
game, Booker got hurt going into overtime.
Right. So we didn't have Booker in either overtime. We played 3 overtimes in the span of 2 days against Denver and we lost. So I don't want to play them. I'd feel more comfortable playing the Lakers in a 7-game series than Denver. Just because Denver
What?
I mean, I
Denver has our
agree.
Denver has our number where
Denver has everyone's number.
conversely we just beat the Lakers and
Except
I'm
for the
not
seventh
scared.
seed
Yeah, but
I'm
it doesn't count.
terrified.
or sixth seed.
Actually, I would love to play if I had to pick between playing like Utah, LA, the Lakers, Portland, Denver. I think I'd rather pick like the Clippers would be a team I'd prefer to play. I actually don't want to play a healthy Blazers team. That terrifies me. Like Dame time in the playoffs is not something I'm looking forward to because he's gonna kill someone. He really is.
He's
You know,
gonna knock a 30-footer and then wave in your face as
he's what
you're
he's
eliminated.
fun. It's like that weird, like spooky time where it's their like perfect prime of their averaging like 30. Damian
Yeah.
can do anything. I don't want to play him ever. I want the Lakers to have to play him. That's what I want. I want a revenge series.
I'll take Dame time.
You-
I'll take a 4-0 sweep.
I
God.
got a question about the Lakers.
Yeah, okay.
How much are the Lakers missing Rondo this year? Because I know
None.
that Lakers are playing well, but I feel like their bench is like kind of booty.
No,
And
it's
not in a good
AD sucks. AD's just
AD
sucking is just the
shouldn't have
big.
come
It's the biggest thing. It's all that's going on. Everything else about our team is better,
You
except
like Marcus Hall?
I do like Marcus All.
You
Really
like how he's like a skeleton out there?
No, he's
like, "Don't worry,
fine.
guys. I'll catch up to ya."
He hits threes when he needs to. He can bark out commands. I freaking love it. I'll take Gasol every day.
So you like the combo of Harrell and Gasol over Dwight and McGee?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will. Yeah.
Harrell just seems like a depreciating asset. Like,
Yeah. No. He's not gonna be great. Like what did we get him on? Like 2 years or something? It was like. We get him longer than that.
Yeah, no,
Is
it
he
was
just-
cheap too.
He's just a better Fareed, and we loved Fareed. Which
He is literally Kenneth Fareed. Like
Mhm.
that's his role.
2 year. Yeah,
Taller.
we have him on a 2-year deal. That's perfect. He can leave after that. Because
what age was it when Fareed pretty much just went? Because it was like he was like,
Like 25.
yeah, I feel like it was pretty much as soon as he got like a little bit older and he wasn't like that super aggressive, super fast offensive rebounder, it was just over. And it was
That
over
pretty
quick.
close. So
he's 31.
the last season he had over 10 points a game was when he was 26.
Yeah.
And how old
then,
is Harold right now?
Well,
23.
what
No,
happened was they got rid of Carl. George
Oh,
Carl
yeah.
loved him, and then he
Mhm.
just like he went from playing like 28 minutes a game just to down to 21 2 years later.
The good old Manimal. So much fun.
I think he plays over in like China or something.
I think so. Or he might play in like one of those the Israel League where Stoudemire played after he retired.
he bought that team too. Stoudemire bought a team in Israel just so he could be the starting center.
A fucking genius.
Is it a red flag that Harrell's averaging 5 less points per game and he's only playing 3 less minutes?
No,
No.
I think it's just how bad the Clippers were last year.
The Clippers, if it wasn't a bubble, the Clippers probably would have made it to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, but they didn't.
The entire team last year, other than Kawhi, was like, yeah, we don't want to be here. Screw this. We're okay with going home.
Doesn't sound like
Wah.
a bunch of winners to me.
No,
Wah.
it was. It was not.
Wah.
And they got rid of
Wah.
like one of the losers in Harrell. And now they just got to figure out a way to get rid of Lou Williams and Pat Bev. Lou Williams just wanted to go to a strip club where he had wings
Williams.
named after him.
Lou.
Lou Williams. I thought he was better than DeMar.
I'm doing this tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm having a good night.
So what team would you be the most worried for the Lakers, Nick?
Oh, the Nuggets. I'm terrified of the Nuggets. No, I don't want to play these guys. They suck. They suck. They suck. The Clippers. I don't want to play the Clippers.
I don't know what's terrifying about the Clippers.
Because we
Like
don't
I-
play them well. We don't.
No,
We
'cause
beat
they
them like
match up
once out
perfect.
of like 5 times.
Yeah, the Clippers match up perfect against the Lakers.
But like I trust LeBron more than anyone else in the league, so I don't know. I just need AD to not suck.
If it was the playoffs right now, the Lakers and Clippers wouldn't play unless it was the conference finals. That's
That's all
not
they-
what I want. I need somebody to dip. And I don't know.
Oh my
I
god,
kinda
though.
think these top 4 teams are just going to
This would suck. The Clippers would, so they'd beat the Blazers. Then they'd have to play the
Or the
Jazz
Jazz.
or the Mavs.
Yep.
And
That's so easy.
I think the Clippers beat the Jazz
That's so easy.
This-
in 6 games.
the Lakers would have to play Denver if the season ended
Yeah,
right
it
now.
sucks. We'd have to play Denver and then your scrub ass team.
Oh my god,
You wipe the floor.
We'd kill you.
Oh my.
4-1,
right
4-1,
now-
4-1, baby. All the way to the finals.
Right now, if the season ended today, the Knicks would play the Celtics in the first round,
I love it.
and then would be
Philly.
70. Yeah, they would play Philly in the next round.
And
Which, oh my god,
you guys might lose every game by 12.
against Philly?
Yeah.
I don't
Do
know. I
you
think
know who'll
Philly
be
could
back by
lose
then?
again.
Do you know who will be back by then?
Yes, the G Leaguer Mitchell Robinson. We
Oh,
get
shut the fuck up.
it.
Mitchell Robinson's a G Leaguer.
No. Okay, so like, what do you think the series would be? The Knicks Sixers.
I think it would be 4-2.
Yeah, I agree.
4-1
76ers.
Sixers.
4-1?
4-1.
You would
I
have one of
wanna
those
see
games
this
where
team.
Embiid doesn't hit anything. And then you would have another game where Julius Randle just balls out.
I think the game that Embiid doesn't hit anything and the game Julius Randle balls out would coincide.
Be the same.
Yeah.
That's all right, though. Because if everything comes to...
I
Like,
mean,
to
your
fruition.
guys' biggest problem will be scoring.
Well, that's why... Victor Oladipo!
Oh my god, you guys need to make this. It needs to happen.
You do something.
I don't think they'll go for Zach LaVine because I don't think the Bulls will trade him unless it's like a monster package. And I think the Knicks could get Oladipo by just throwing out one of their picks for next year. Like either if it's the Mavs pick or if it's their pick, I think one of those picks would get it.
No, I agree. I'm looking at the standings.
Hmm.
The East is actually super pathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Look at their away record. There's only one team in the playoffs. There's only one team in the playoffs that has a positive away record.
There's 3 teams in the
Nets.
entire East with a positive away record.
But the Western Conference has except San Antonio. So that's 7 out of 8 playoff teams have a positive away record. And then so does Golden State.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
What happened with the Pacers?
Oh no, so it's every team in the playoffs for the Western Conference has
A positive.
Mhm.
That's ridiculous.
Like I feel like the Pacers falling to 16 and 19 has kind of just been like under the rug. I feel.
I think those injuries caught up to him. No TJ
Mhm.
Warren, no
Dumpster fire. I was right all along.
Yeah, you only needed one of their guys to like lose a leg, and the other guy to lose a kidney.
Yep.
That's all you needed. He did lose his kidney, right?
Well, that's part of it.
Oh, yeah, I think
He
they
lost
just.
his kidney, and then
Yeah.
Miles Turner was out for like
Mhm. Yeah, because he was on
Third of
track
the
to get
season.
Defensive Player of the Year, and then he was just out.
yeah. Yep, Pacers falling apart.
Sorry,
I
they'll-
think they'll be fine next year.
See the Knicks there, above 500 going into the All-Star break.
We're all above 500. Some
Mhm.
teams are performing better than others, but in the end,
Maybe if you guys played actual basketball games, 24-11. Jesus.
I mean, they only have 2 less games.
Yeah,
than
2 less
the Lakers.
games. That's a lot.
yeah, that means our
2.
schedule in the second half is gonna suck. I've
Yeah.
actually looked at it already. We have an average schedule, in quotes, apparently, but like 65% of our games are away, and I'm
Good.
not looking forward to that. Even though our record at home and away is our away record's better, but it's like
We're worse at
I don't
home.
want to play away. Like I don't want to do road trips to the east because like every time a team has like a 4 or 5 game road trip, like across the country, they always lose like 2
Well-
really bad games. Like they'll lose
Yeah.
against like the Hornets by like 12, and you'll be like, why the hell did the Lakers lose the Hornets? And it's like, well, it was their 4th game in 7 days.
Yeah,
and
They just
LeBron
didn't wake
the
up for
strip
it.
club, and it was just not what was going to happen that day. I don't know. I'm looking forward
Lucas,
to it.
April 26th.
Is it a
Suns
rematch yet?
traveled to New York.
Oh my god.
Oh
The
boy.
Mecca? You mean Booker's gonna drop a new Mecca record on you?
Frankie Smokes, Frankie Nicotine.
is he even in the rotation anymore?
Yes, he's in the
Oh, fuck.
rotation.
I don't know if he is. I'm
He
gonna fact
is.
check you on this.
He is. Last
I-
3 games
He's
I
the
watched-
he's the
with
the
my
third
life.
string shooting guard. Because Derrick Rose is out.
Yes, Derrick Rose is out, which means Frankie Smokes gets in.
So
How
his
do you
But-
spell this dude's last name?
I don't know, that's why
NTILIKINA. Not
Is it
NA.
NT? Is it really NT? It is.
NTILIKINA.
The freaking
That's why I call him
French.
Frankie Smokes or Frankie Nicotine.
Nilakina.
You cannot tell me he's in the rotation.
He is in the rotation.
Okay. All right. Question then.
If
One,
Derrick Rose is playing.
how many games does he play? How many games does he play this year? If he's in the
Half.
rotation, half. I'm gonna blow your mind. He's played in 9. 9
Third.
games.
Maybe you're
2 of
close.
those games he played less than 5 minutes.
He
You know
played
what?
the first 4, and then he was inactive, and then he rotated between inactive and
Hey,
did not play.
At least give the
I
man
know that.
credit. In 3 of his last 5 games, he shot 100% from 3.
He has played the
Mhm.
last 5 games. I'll give you
Yeah,
that.
and he's looked good in the last 5 games too.
And it's not like hitting 1 3. He's hit 3 for 3.
Exactly.
He had to do something to Thibs. Get out of that doghouse. But I'm ready. I'm ready for Booker to drop a new 70, but in New York. That'll be
God,
good.
remember when they fed Booker 70 so he'd feel good about himself?
Right?
That wasn't no. Let's reiterate. That wasn't so he felt good. That was so I felt alive because we were so dead. Remember our starting point guard was Tyler Eulis. You remember that?
Do you remember when you guys won that game?
He didn't. They didn't.
Oh,
We won a
oh.
lot of good
Empty
games.
stats.
My favorite part is Crowder was talking shit on Instagram after the game, and then
So much shit and other teammates.
and now Crowder was like dying to come to the Suns. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. I love it.
Bum.
All right, we got the steal the draft manual quickly.
Happens. I'm ready for the playoffs though. I kind of want to fast track this. No, I need the deadline to happen, and then I'm ready to get to the playoffs because I'm.
Yeah,
finally
we're gonna have to do like an actual trade deadline. I was gonna spring that
agree.
on you guys, but then I couldn't think of
I
any
didn't think
trades I
about it. I
wanted.
didn't realize when the deadline is.
Nah, we'll do it
Either.
next week.
What? Next
2
week,
weeks
right?
away.
Yeah.
Do it.
Like 2
It's all right.
weeks.
Victor Oladipo to the Knicks. Kevin Knox and a first rounder.
Watch, they're gonna
Somebody
like
knows.
they're gonna waive Oladipo like at the trade deadline. He's gonna sign with Brooklyn. That's gonna be dumb.
I would just hate it. I'd hate everything because they're gonna get. Oh, breaking news! Myers Leonard will be away from the Heat indefinitely. So, I don't think they want to cut him because then he'd be like 35 million in dead cap because they're
Yeah.
paying him like way too much. He's getting paid like 17
Yeah.
2 years or something. Anyway.
Myers Leonard just rocking Pit Vipers in his apology.
It's not a good look. I'm gonna be real. None of it's good.
So, before we go, did any of us agree on one of our picks?
No.
Enough, or did we ask Lucas how much money did we ask that question? I forget.
Oh no, we didn't. Yeah.
I had $100.
$100. I'm a terrible podcast host today.
Can I take into account that I get $53 a day? No.
No. No, we cannot take account that your job just hands you $50 a day. Like, here you go, lunch on us, guys.
Man, I think I'd only put like $30 on it. I don't like. I liked it because of the odds of getting the Jazz, and I think the Nets will end up being there.
Yeah.
I don't think Philly's gonna be there. Like I'm gonna write them off. I think it's gonna be Milwaukee or the Nets, and I just can't say that a team with 2 MVPs, basically in their prime, are not gonna make the NBA Finals. So
It would have to be something like where some COVID shit happens to them in the finals and they're just like out. But I honestly by then I think everyone's gonna be vaccinated.
no, they're not.
No, wait,
No,
no,
See,
by
not
May.
even- It's not even that. It's the NBA said they're not going to enforce vaccinations, and that LeBron has said he's not going to take the vaccine. And so, like, these guys aren't going to get vaccinated. That's what's happening.
Well, I know Kyrie wouldn't get it.
No, like LeBron said that he's talked to his family and he's not going to announce his decision.
Well, that's because he already has he got the real vaccine.
Not vaccinated. But I'm saying, like, I think it's going to be a thing where NBA players will not get. Michael Porter Jr. will not get vaccinated.
Oh, there's no way Michael Porter Jr. will get it.
I think
I'm getting
it's going to be a
sick of the
scenario
kid.
in which Karl Anthony Towns is going to just start stabbing people with syringes to
Right.
get
He's
vaccinated.
hey man, come here, right in the arm.
Seriously.
In the middle of the game, he's just going to start stabbing people with vaccines. It's going to be a thing. It's going to be a thing.
So we pretty much settled on what I kind of thought when going into this podcast, that none of us would agree with each other on who we think is going to go to the NBA Finals.
No.
Oh, now you actually thought differently. I knew that was gonna happen.
Well, I had a feeling Dave was going to pick the Blazers. Just felt it in my soul.
I started the year off saying Dame's gonna win MVP. Gotta keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on. All right. Well, that was fun. That was a nice little mix-up, a little all-star break. Just talk about the finals and get upset about the Nets. Who would have seen that one coming? But thank you all for listening to the NBA Nightcap. Got our Twitter right here on the right side. Nightcap NBA. NBA Nightcap's our Instagram. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, our YouTube. If you're following our YouTube, NBA Nightcap. And make sure you leave us subscribe to our podcast here. And if you're listening, I'm sure you're subscribed. Leave us a review, or maybe two. Boost our numbers. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night.